The Right Side with Doug Billings.
Ladies and gentlemen, this broadcast is made possible by the Spreely Network. It is the network, Spreely, for free thought and free people. I want you to go to your app store and download their Freedom Hub. Do it today, ladies and gentlemen. It's much too important. We depend on you. Freedom is waiting. The Freedom Hub from Spreely. Believe it. For the Republic. Cheers. Ladies and gentlemen, hope surrounds you. What you're watching on television, hundreds of thousands of people demonstrating in London, demonstrating in Washington, D.C., that's the panic of the radical left coming out of the woodwork to support their woke liberal agenda, the agenda that will kill you if you disagree with them. Now, there are many more of us than them, and they know that. It's because their media partners show this on television. We know it's the product of open borders. It's the product of a decline of moral values in our societies, and it's the abandonment of God that they on the left put forth. Today, I'm going to show you and prove to you why, with hard work and determined patriotism, we will prevail. Ladies and gentlemen, the right side with Doug Billings is now upon you. Are you ready? Let's go.
Hey everybody, my name is General Mike Flynn, and I'm here to do a big shout out for my great friend and one of the best in the business, Mr. Doug Billings. Right side with Doug Billings, right side with Doug Billings. Doug is the future of the airwaves when it comes to independent broadcasters and podcasters. He is the new Rush Limbaugh. He's exactly what America needs right now, looking for honesty, looking for wisdom, looking for truth, looking for patriotism. Listen to Doug Billings at Right Side with Doug Billings. God bless you and God bless America, and thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are winning. We're winning, winning, winning. Welcome to the Right Side with Doug Billings. Are you ready?
We are not liberal snowflakes who melt away in the face of tragedy, adversity, and challenge. We are a covenant nation under God, and his divine providence is not dead and it's not gone. It is living within each and every one of you. And you will bring it to life in such a way that the world has never seen before. We never back down. We never give up. We march forward.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Right Side with Doug Billings. Thanks for watching us from around the planet. I appreciate you very much. We are here on the program standing with you shoulder to shoulder. You know that. And by so doing, you are availing yourself to discover abundant amounts of wonder, joy, and meaning in this life, precisely because we pursue the conservative agenda. Tomorrow is Election Day, November 7th. Please get out and vote on Election Day, ladies and gentlemen. Election Day, please don't succumb to the vote early trend. Yes, it's convenient. Yes, I get it, but come on. The founders intended this to be Election Day, not election month, not election week. But it's so inconvenient to stand in line for several hours. Well, okay. It's also inconvenient for members of the military to go to the battlefield to defend your right to vote and offer up the supreme sacrifice of their life in many cases. So let's not, the argument of it's inconvenient and standing in line for a few hours doesn't hold much water when you juxtapose that against what our military men and women have done to protect our right to vote. So Election Day, ladies and gentlemen, please. Many of you out there, as I, still concerned about the fraud and the cheating within the electoral system. Well, one way to combat that, if it happens, is to get out and vote on Election Day. So I would encourage you to consider that, please, this year and going forward, as we are now in a presidential election year. Clearly, in November of 2024, we need to, I think, very seriously consider our approach to Election Day voting. And as we look around the country, in fact, as we look around the world, we are, I think, shuddered by the fact shocked by the fact, aghast by what we see with regards to gatherings of massive amounts of people to support a radical, woke, left-wing message of hate, murder, and terrorism, which is exactly what we saw on television coming from the streets of London and other cities in Europe and in the United States, in Washington, D.C. Many people, in the tens of thousands, gathered together to promote hate, to promote Hamas, terrorism, and these chants for Palestine and, Palestine and all of these other mantras that were put forth last week, for many of us are frightening. But when we juxtapose that against what's going on in the world, when we look at the entire situation, the entire woke agenda is crumbling, my friends. Now, it doesn't seem like it in the media. It's because you've got to understand the media doesn't want to display the truth. They don't want the cracks in the armor of liberalism and the woke agenda to be seen by you. So, of course, when we see these massive demonstrations in support of Hamas and in support of the elimination, eradication, and death to Jews and to the state of Israel, we become frightened. That's human nature. It's understandable. And I'm not here claiming that liberalism is anywhere near being eliminated, but we're making progress despite what you see on television. And the progress is really being brought about because of the liberal platforms and policies and politics themselves that are now on full display around the world and that are being rejected by people like you. Rejected because of the chaos that the radical left woke agenda creates on purpose. They are coordinating these worldwide demonstrations of woke liberal ideologies, the hatred of Israel, the anti-American rhetoric that we've seen, precisely because they know that the majority of people around the world are more traditional, are more moral than they are liberal. And interestingly, when we look at all of this in the United States with regards to President Trump, he's becoming more and more popular precisely because of, again, what the left is doing to him. There is a realization out there in the world among people who have previously dismissed President Trump. And this is interesting. It's interesting to note there's a realization out there that the messages, the hope, the work that President Trump put forth was, in fact, very good. The realization that all of what he put forth was pro-America. It was pro-business. It was pro-success. It was pro-life. It was pro-God. And so, because the radical left doesn't like the message of President Trump, because those messages stand in direct opposition to the radical, woke, liberal agenda that they put forth, people who identified themselves as being members of the left tried to kill the messages of President Trump, and many of them in the media would try to squelch it. You all know this. Look what happened to Trump on Twitter. They canceled him on Facebook, YouTube, not because of any rational or intellectually mature reason, but only because they just don't like Trump. He stands in the way, he and his message, of the liberal woke agenda, so he must be stopped. There is a Jewish journalist out there by the name of Bari Weiss, and you should look her up. She recently resigned from the New York Times because of that publication's anti-Semitism. And she wrote this recently. I'm going to read to you a quote from her directly. Quote, "As a Democrat who has been left homeless, who is now definitely in the center, but probably increasingly leaning right, I am left again with an appreciation, despite the messenger, of the message of the Trump administration, because what those guys did was pretty incredible in hindsight." Continuing the quote, So much of the work that happened in that Trump administration turns out to have been right. And that's what's so frustrating for me. The work on the border wall. We didn't like the message, so we killed the messenger. Turns out he was right. Issuing long-term debt to refinance when rates were at 0%. We didn't like the messenger, so we killed the message. A structural peace in the Middle East offered by President Trump and put forth. We didn't like the messenger, so we killed the message. When are we going to stop shooting ourselves in the foot, she says? And when are we going to actually see and take the time to look past who is saying these things and actually listen to them word for word? If it's clear that the last 2 weeks have been a wake-up call, the next question is then why? Part of the answer is the sheer depravity of Hamas's terrorism. That depravity has made the justification and the celebration of their acts by those who police pronouns much starker. The contradictions and moral bankruptcy of a worldview that spends years worrying about microaggressions and tone policing, but can't decide what side it's on after the beheading of babies aren't exactly difficult to spot. And she continues to put it another way. When Black Lives Matter organizations are lionizing Islamist terrorists by posting paraglider logos, you'd be a fool not to reassess those things. The events of last week, Ms. Weiss continues, have shattered the illusion that wokeness is about protecting victims and standing up for persecuted minorities. This ideology is and always has been about one thing. Many of us have told you for years, it is about power. And after these last 2 weeks, there can be no doubt about how these people will use any power they seize. They will seek to destroy in any way they can those who disagree with them. End quote. That's from Barry Weiss, ladies and gentlemen. A tip of my hat to Barry, to Ms. Weiss. And I'm thankful that she has had the strength to break away from the liberal movement. And of course, those of you who have watched this show for the last 3.5 years will recognize many of these sentiments because I have said them all along. The woke agenda is not about welcoming. It's not about loving. It's not about accepting anybody or anything unless it fits into their narrative, into their politics, into their platform, into their policies. And it's part of the reason I have told you that understanding is more important than knowledge. You've got to understand what these radicals believe and how they put their beliefs upon us. Not just know what they say, but understand what they're saying, because they will mix lies with the truth in order to seduce you, to cancel you, and quite literally to kill you. I'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Stay with me. God bless you. Cheers.
The Right Side with Doug Billings.
Hey, folks, don't look now, but you're being lied to. Wall Street financial gurus are out there screaming to max out your 401k, max out your IRA. Yet the man who invented the 401k is saying, no, that's a failed experiment. In fact, we ought to scrub the entire 401k program. It's time for you to get the truth, ladies and gentlemen. Bank on yourself is a better way to grow and protect your hard-earned money. This retirement plan alternative has never had a losing year in over 160 years. Guaranteed, predictable growth and retirement income with Bank on Yourself. Your plan doesn't go backwards when markets tumble, folks. Your principal and your growth are locked in. Tax-free retirement income. You'll know exactly what your tax rate is in retirement. Zero under current tax law, which will protect you against the upcoming and inevitable tax tsunami. You're in control. You can get a hold of your money, access it, withdraw it anytime you want for any reason with no government penalties, no government restrictions. Try doing that with your 401k or your IRA. You can't. And almost anybody can do this. Built-in inflation protection. Your money is guaranteed to grow by a larger dollar amount every single year in both good times and in bad. I mean, do you want guaranteed, predictable annual growth? Predictable growth of your money. Tax-free retirement income. Do you want all of that? Of course you do. Then go to bankonyourself.com/Doug. We will send you a free report with this proven retirement plan alternative that banks and Wall Street hope you never hear about. bankonyourself.com/Doug. Do it today, ladies and gentlemen, for your free report. Believe it. For the Republic. Cheers.
The Right Side with Doug Billings.
Hi, everybody. Okay, welcome back to The Right Side with Doug Billings, where I enter into your life at key moments just as this to make differences for the better. And you do it for me, too. Okay, we can look at this from a moral perspective or a biological one for that matter. This deconstruction of the left, the deconstruction of society by virtue of what the left woke agenda is attempting to cast upon us. And I contend that there are more people with your kind of values, ladies and gentlemen, and your kind of belief structures, your worldview of traditional American morality, good old American morality, Christian morality, more of us than there are of them, and their agenda crumbling, despite what we see. In many ways, they put more of themselves out there on purpose because they know that they're losing. And so they're going to cascade even more of what they believe and what they say upon us, using, of course, their allies within the media. We remain strong. We remain hopeful. We always engage in our local levels, and we will prevail. We can, again, look at this from a moral perspective. We can look at it from a biological one. The radical left is out to not only change our worldview, but the very definitions of the things that are the foundation of our society. A case in point, men and women. The differences between men and women are designed purposefully, ladies and gentlemen, and meant to be so by God himself. Now, right there, having mentioned God, I have just lost the majority of the liberal worldview. They don't believe in God, ladies and gentlemen. Their number one priority is not to change politics, not to change or police pronouns, but to put away the belief of God before the destruction of any candidate, before any of their policies, platform, or politics. They want to eliminate God. I've said this before. The liberal woke agenda, number one agenda item, remove God from society. So men and women, by definition, present a problem for radical woke agendas. Traditional gender duties, if you will, have to be changeable. The teaching that they have on the left that happiness can be found by mutilation of one's genitalia is a very real prescription put forth by the radical woke community, especially to children when dealing with mental issues about how they can become happy. This is prescribed all of the time by the radical left. Just a little snip, snip here, a tuck, tuck there, some hormone therapy over here, and little Johnny and little Sarah, who believe they are misassigned genders, can become happy again. And that's a lie, and it's immoral. And all of this, the left radical woke agenda leads to the erosion of marriage, of sacramental marriage, and of the traditional family unit, which in a traditional sense is necessary. Traditional family units are necessary for society to function within standards of morality, stability, and legacy. Because within marriage and family life, in the traditional setting, men and women become co-creators of life with God. And everything stems from that. Men and women are different on purpose. We are not equal, nor should we treat each other equally. This is a topic I got into often when I was in corporate America and was serving as vice president of human resources in the corporate world. People would come into my office enough that it would I think I could classify it as fairly regularly. At least a few times a year, we would have discussions about equality. They would come in and complain or advocate that equality should be our goal. Treating everybody equally is what our policies and our procedures should stand for. And they were wrong about that, and they still are. Not only is it impractical to treat people equally, it's wrong to treat people equally. Now go with me on this. Hang on. Not only is it impractical, not only is it wrong to treat people equally, it's impossible, ladies and gentlemen, to do it. What we should be striving to do is to treat everyone fairly. So all of this feminism that has been surrounding us for several decades now is, in effect, fictitious. It's also malicious. And it's impossible to achieve by design. More than anything else, none of that, feminism, none of it is how natural law, which is God's law, is meant to be. Men and women are different. They are not equal. This doesn't mean that one gender is better than another, not at all. It means simply that both genders are different from one another. And that is the truth. To deny it is to be intellectually immature.
The Right Side with Doug Billings.
Ladies and gentlemen, what if I told you that you could change the trajectory of your aging process? Look and feel better, live younger, be more active, less pain when you move around, sleep better, diminish the lines and the wrinkles on your face? Really? This is what I'm telling you. It's possible. You see, low stem cell activity happens when we get older, and it could be causing many of the health problems that some people have in the world today. Because as we get older, we have less stem cell activity, which means we age faster and we heal slower. The secret is a clinically proven and patented phototherapy non-transdermal patch, whose technology is the result of over 90 clinical studies and over 20 years of research. Your healthier life can begin today, and you can discover true age reversal. Age reversal, ladies and gentlemen. Please go to liveyoungerwithdoug.us. liveyoungerwithdoug.us, ladies and gentlemen. Get over there today. Or if you'd like, text my name, Doug, to 41372. Doug, text it, 41372. And get over to liveyoungerwithdoug.us. Get younger, feel younger. I'm doing it. I'm wearing this patch. I feel great, and so will you. God bless you, ladies and gentlemen. For the Republic. Cheers.
The Right Side with Doug Billings.
All of these attacks on traditional values, the attacks on God, on sacramental marriage, the attacks on the biological and genetic difference between men and women, they have so many effects in our society. And key among them is this misunderstanding of equality. The radical liberal left have attempted to deconstruct the innate differences between men and women at all costs. We clearly see this. And it's affected marriage. It has affected family, which are key societal elements that are required for the success of any society with regards to morality, with regards to stability and the legacy of the family itself. I mean, today, men are being cuckolded by woke liberalism. And the absence of traditional sacramental marriage and family values has escalated societal elements such as violence, such as immorality, unsustainability, lack of stability, the basic foundations and tenets of a Christian society. But Doug, we're not intended to be a Christian society. Oh, yes, we are. Oh, yes, we are. You only have to read our founding fathers' documents to get a sense of the truth about that. I'm not saying it's a theocracy, but I'm saying the foundation is Christian principle. And while you're at it, if you really want to educate yourself about what the founders wanted from this republic, go start to read their personal letters and their journals. Read their public speeches. They wanted God to be woven into the fabric of this society. And it's time, once and for all, ladies and gentlemen, to put the Thomas Jefferson quote and it's continually taken out of context, to put that to rest. Thomas Jefferson did not mean literally that there should be a separation of church and state. The letter to the Baptist Danbury Association, the Danbury Baptist Association, is continually taken out of context, and we will have none of that over here. Jefferson wanted the introduction, the involvement, the woven fabric of God, theology, philosophy into society. We are not a theocracy, that is true. But the founders wanted God. They wanted the Bible, the study of philosophy, theology, obviously mathematics, the sciences, the study of English. They wanted all of that into our society, and they especially wanted it within the curriculum of public schools. Traditional family values, the traditional differences between men and women, the values of Christian principles, of sacramental marriage, human biology, human DNA, human evolution, from the times of from the days of us being hunter-gatherers to barbarian hordes to the time of emperors, to the Industrial Revolution, throughout all of history up into including today. Men have been working and building industry, society, coming home to a nuclear family unit. Women have been builders of the family at home, providing for children and men in daily life. Within the bonds of traditional Christian marriage, man and women become co-creators of children with God. And the family is meant to mirror the image and likeness of God. The feminist movement attempted to destroy the family, and to a degree has been successful, quite frankly. The deconstruction of the family unit and what it has caused is obvious. You look at society today with a critical eye, ladies and gentlemen, and precisely because of this deconstruction of the family, of traditional sacramental marriage values, we have broken families, single-parent families, no father, no mother, no traditional values taught within the home, no traditional values taught within the public school system, upper education in college and universities, a decline in spiritual growth and attendance at church, all of this because of the feminist movement and the attack on men, primarily, and the traditional American values, the blending of genders, the ability to say to yourself, well, it's okay, I can change the God-given gender. All of this has led to statistical and vast increases within our society in the categories of immorality, crime, teen pregnancy, teen suicide, school dropout rates, promiscuity, casting away of sacramental marriage and between one man and one woman. The list goes on and on. What we see here as a result of this woke liberal agenda, their politics, their platform, and their policies, is really the wussification of men and a society in general. The wussification of generations of people since they began to do this in the early 1960s. I mean, the wussification of our society, really? You don't think that's the truth? Schools offering safe rooms for students who just don't feel safe taking a final exam. Canceling the basic requirements of being able to read in certain schools around the country. Drag queen story time hour in kindergarten, preschool, grade school. Buying into the notion that accepting and loving everybody. We've got to accept and love everybody. That's all been bastardized. Of course we love people. Of course we want to nurture and care for them and teach them. But according to the left, if we do that, that means we have to allow and accept immorality and abandon the morality that God has given us. We should never attempt, according to the radical left, to point out the error of sin, the error of the immorality cast upon societies by members of groups such as the LGBTQ kook community. Their attempt, to degrade the rainbow, which is God's promise to us, into some symbol of prideful immorality and the acceptance of debauchery is terrible. The truth is that we're called, you and me, to teach and to counsel each other, especially children, about morality, about how morality is more important than personal gratification. We are called to correct with every fiber in our being the false notion put forth by the radical left that children can find happiness by mutilating their genitalia. Ladies and gentlemen, listen closely to this. Transgenderism is nothing more than sexual suicide encouraged by the left and adopted by immoral people. When monogamy and sacramental marriage begin to break down, we see what's happening all over the world. The breakdown of society, the increase in crime and immorality, etc., the chaos of transgender people, men competing in women's sports, the attack on women in that regard, parental rights in schools being taken away, men and women abandoning family, and the intellectually immature claiming that we should all treat one another equally rather than fairly. All right, stay with me, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be right back after this break. Cheers.
The Right Side with Doug Billings.
Hey, folks, don't look now, but you're being lied to. Wall Street financial gurus are out there screaming to max out your 401k, max out your IRA. Yet the man who invented the 401k is saying, no, that's a failed experiment. In fact, we ought to scrub the entire 401k program. It's time for you to get the truth, ladies and gentlemen. Bank on yourself is a better way to grow and protect your hard-earned money. This retirement plan alternative has never had a losing year in over 160 years. Guaranteed, predictable growth and retirement income with Bank on Yourself. Your plan doesn't go backwards when markets tumble, folks. Your principal and your growth are locked in. Tax-free retirement income. You'll know exactly what your tax rate is in retirement. Zero under current tax law, which will protect you against the upcoming and inevitable tax tsunami. You're in control. You can get a hold of your money, access it, withdraw it anytime you want for any reason with no government penalties, no government restrictions. Try doing that with your 401k or your IRA. You can't. And almost anybody can do this. Built-in inflation protection. Your money is guaranteed to grow by a larger dollar amount every single year in both good times and in bad. I mean, do you want guaranteed, predictable annual growth? Predictable growth of your money. Tax-free retirement income. Do you want all of that? Of course you do. Then go to bankonyourself.com/Doug. We will send you a free report with this proven retirement plan alternative that banks and Wall Street hope you never hear about. bankonyourself.com/Doug. Do it today, ladies and gentlemen, for your free report. Believe it. For the Republic. Cheers.
The Right Side with Doug Billings.
Ladies and gentlemen, finally, Americans in all of this, I want to make sure that I end where I began. There is hope here. Americans traditionally have come together in times of challenge, adversity, and tragedy. That's obvious. We know that. 9/11, Pearl Harbor, World War I and II, the product of those things, of those events in our history gave us America's greatest generations. And we come together as Americans because we have a vested interest in America. And we have a sincere, genuine belief in the exceptionalism of America. At the end of the day, most of us believe that. The fringe doesn't. And we see the fringe on TV. Now, the mobs that we saw this past week in London and Washington, D.C., that's a lot of people we saw. The people that were protesting Israel and promoting Hamas and Palestine, etc. It's a lot of people on TV, but they remain the minority. And I'll just say three quick things about the mobs that we saw. They do not represent American citizens here in America, these mobs that we see. They represent the illegal mob of immigrants that we've had. Yes, of course, there were some American citizens in the mix. I'm not saying there weren't, but the majority of those folks, this is a product of open borders. Secondly, we are waking up to the problem of all of this, the Biden administration. That's why we're seeing the deconstruction, the abandonment of liberalism. Despite what we see on TV, I'm telling you, liberalism is on the downswing. And then finally, and most importantly, what we saw on TV with regards to those protests and all of those people in Washington, D.C., that won't have one iota effect on the relationship that the United States has with Israel. None. When we have no border and we allow unfettered access to America, people who have no vested interest in our republic, or people who put their vested interest in their desire to cause us harm, these are presenting us issues of a magnificent scale today. When people come in here in massive numbers who don't hold our collective belief in the exceptionalism of America, it won't be long until we are unable to sustain our unique American identity. Now, we have hope right now, and we can turn this ship around, but we can't go on like this forever. Our national identity could be erased if we don't take action. People coming here by the tens of millions since Administrator Biden occupied the White House have no intent on assimilating into our society. In fact, many people, as I've said on other shows, are coming here precisely to do us harm. And they are making plans at this moment to do so in multiple American cities. Many of you, no doubt, saw the clips that I'm referring to. London, Washington, other places in Europe. Over 100,000 people gathered, right? Most of them illegal immigrants or descendants of illegal immigrants in those cities, marching against Israel, supporting Palestine, and supporting radical Islamic terrorist group Hamas and others. England, they've lost their national identity. So is Germany, Spain, and Italy. So is France. Why? Because they've allowed their borders to deteriorate. Unfettered illegal immigration. It's like watching a nasty swarm of aliens on some science fiction movie that go from planet to planet, consuming all of the natural resources. These illegal aliens come in and consume the natural identity of that country that they are invading. And the United States is experiencing this now. These people will breed, they will pass on their venomous, anti-American, immoral, and hateful worldviews to their children. And America will lose her national identity if we don't put a stop to this absolute, unheard of flood of illegals coming in to our republic. We could be on our deathbed if we don't take action now. And again, the good news is many of you realize this. Even people who think that they're Democrats are realizing this. So there's good news, but this is a rally call. This is a call to action. You know, you can come to events like we're hosting in Kansas City, the Determined Patriotism Conference, and learn how specifically to get involved. Is your patriotism determined? It better be, because we have got to begin to take action and lockstep be with one another to prevent the fall of the republic. And I believe we're going to do it. I believe we're on the cusp of a great reawakening to the divine providence of God. I do, but I'm also here to be realistic and pointing out to you that the radical left is not relenting. We are the majority. Believe it, ladies and gentlemen, hope abounds in your life. I want to tell you this. Your life has the ability to experience vast amounts of wonder, joy, and meaning in this life. But it will not happen through the politics, the platforms, and the policies of the radical left. It will not. They are anti-God, and as such, wonder, joy, and meaning are evaporated from that platform. Because ultimately, your pathway to wonder, joy, and meaning in this life is to believe what we have believed since the beginning of this republic, that there is one creator. Through him and with him and in him, we meet not only our salvation, but the wonder, the joy, and the meaning that he fully intends us to experience in this life and in the next. Believe it, ladies and gentlemen. God bless you. For the republic. Cheers.
The Right Side with Doug Billings.
Ladies and gentlemen, what if I told you that you could change the trajectory of your aging process? Look and feel better, live younger, be more active, less pain when you move around, sleep better, diminish the lines and the wrinkles on your face? Really? This is what I'm telling you. It's possible. You see, low stem cell activity happens when we get older. And it could be causing many of the health problems that some people have in the world today. Because as we get older, we have less stem cell activity, which means we age faster and we heal slower. The secret is a clinically proven and patented phototherapy non-transdermal patch, whose technology is the result of over 90 clinical studies and over 20 years of research. Your healthier life can begin today, and you can discover true age reversal. Age reversal, ladies and gentlemen. Please go to liveyongerwithdoug.us. liveyongerwithdoug.us, ladies and gentlemen. Get over there today. Or if you'd like, text my name, Doug, to 41372. Doug, text it, 41372. And get over to liveyongerwithdoug.us. Get younger, feel younger. I'm doing it. I'm wearing this patch. I feel great, and so will you. God bless you, ladies and gentlemen. For the Republic. Cheers.
The Right Side with Doug Billings.
Hi, everybody. Hey, Doug Billings here. Are you like me and spending over $100 a month on streaming platforms, streaming services? I mean, you want to watch sports, you want to watch specials on TV, you want to watch movies, you want to have the classic TV channels, you want to have your local channels, you want to watch your favorite sports team, whatever it may be. And you're paying over $100 a month to all these various people. Some of them may only charge you $10 a month, but that's just one. You subscribe to 10 of those and it's a lot of money. It's too much money. I have a Patriot company named Q Streaming, Q-C-U-E, Q Streaming, that bundles all of these availabilities, your favorite local channels, all of your local channels, no matter what city you're in, sports, even the pay-per-view sports, so you don't even have to pay the pay-per-view fee, movie channels, like I said, sporting events, specials, it's all right there. I want you to go to therightside.myqstreaming.com. therightside.myqstreaming.com. Q C-U-E streaming. Q Streaming, ladies and gentlemen, $59.99 a month for everything. Your local football, baseball, hockey, basketball, college sports, everything. Bally Sports, the NFL Network, the Major League Networks, all of it. My Q Streaming. And the website is therightside.myqstreaming.com. Get over there. Save yourself some money. Cancel all those other platforms. My Q Streaming is a Patriot-owned service. therightside.myqstreaming.com. God bless you, ladies and gentlemen, for the Republic. Cheers.
The Right Side with Doug Billings.